Obviously, coming off a tough result and one that we've learned from and turned the page on, focused on Missouri now. Obviously, a chance again to go win a game on the road in an exciting environment against a really good team. And there's a lot to like about this Missouri team. They're really good on offense. They have been for a few years. They're really good on defense. They have been for a few years. They're solid on special teams. I think Eli's done a great job there building a program that has become kind of one of the standard bearers in our conference and a program that's obviously garnered national attention. So great challenge for us, great opportunity for us. Feel like the guys responded the right way Sunday, and we're off to work here in our prep. And so with that, I'm happy to open up for questions.
I think you had alluded to some things that maybe weren't right in practice or during the week. Now that you had time to process what went wrong and what you saw, what did you learn from that?
It actually wasn't the physical work that bothered me last week. I think I said that. There was nothing in terms of our work output on the field or the GPS numbers or speeds or anything like that showed me concern. It was more along the lines of focus and approach, and it's guys, being on time, guys, being disciplined and consistent, and the energy. We were in a morning operation, and so I can sense when the guys are on the edge of their seats and leaning into it, and I can sense when they're holding back, and that was my feeling. Obviously, some of that is it's not hard when someone's late or not a check-in on time. Like, that's a pretty clear indicator that we're not where we need to be, and those things were all addressed emphatically in the moment. I mean, there was nothing that wasn't checked all the way up until we put the ball down to play. I think at the end of the day, the message after the game is when we're undisciplined off the field, as we were this week, we play an undisciplined game on the field, and it's drawing a correlation to that, and reinforcing this message that's been consistent in our program, that we're a team that's good enough to win every game we play, but we're not good enough to not play the game the right way, and certainly detail and focus is a part of that. I thought we played with passion in the game. I don't think we played a clean game, and Georgia State was better than us on Saturday. So it's a tough lesson to learn, but it could be a great opportunity for us to mature as a team and to move forward.
Does any part of you look back at that game and say maybe we needed that, maybe this team needed this to refocus, because if it's a win, maybe you don't learn from it as many back.
Well, I'd much rather learn that lesson from a win. So I don't want to, I wanted to make a stop and celebrate a win and then quickly shift into the same exact message to the team. The message wouldn't have changed. We learn it now through the pain of a bad result. And I think in a lot of ways, we're still learning how to, we're still learning and growing in this process-oriented approach to winning and to the season. And I think we maybe punched beyond expectations early, not internal expectations, but external, and that's fine. I mean, we can't allow external perception to drive anything that we do. But I think sometimes you can get distracted by your own success. And again, we have a good team, but we're not good enough to play a distracted game. And there was nothing, again, if you put the practice film on, it looked like our team practice, and it's the mentality of the mindset that surrounds our players the other 21 hours in the day, and the discipline it takes to cut through all that, to be consistent in your approach. And that to me was what was off. And that's not to take credit away from Georgia State. I thought they played a really good, sound game, and I thought their quarterback played really well. And there were some things that he was able to fit balls in windows that I don't know. It's just, he played a sharp game. So I don't want to take credit away from them. Obviously, I wish that we would have represented ourselves better. That I think we could have come out of there feeling better about our performance. And had we felt better about our performance, I think we could have gotten a good result. We didn't have it. To your question, I'd much rather teach that lesson off a win than a loss.
The last drive, when you watched it on film, what broke down? Would there be anything that you would change if you had to do it again?
I think it's a hard look. I think it goes back to the Virginia Tech last play and, calling the timeout and seeing that they wanted a one-on-one matchup and changing the coverage. I think anytime you know what's coming, you're certainly going to make some changes. What I will tell you is, we stayed in a 4-man rush. I felt like we were getting pocket collapse and pressure, and he was able to get the ball out in time. There were marginal breakdowns in our execution. The first snap, we should have had the ability to break that pass up. I think at the moment we got out of our technique, and so it left a little space for the completion. It was a catch tackle, I think, for 11 yards. The second one was a high-low combination on the sideline. We're in cover 2. That should be a pretty good call, but the corner hugged the flat, and the receiver was able to roll into the soft spot in the window, and so that chunk really hurt. We turned into man, and he fit a really tight ball into an over route where we had a man player and a vice player on it. I mean, it's just there were just things that I want to give him credit, because I think he outperformed us in that moment, and obviously we shifted into some zone, and we got him off track, off course. You're still trying to create some kind of negative yardage play, so you're trying to generate a little bit of pressure, maybe to knock him out of field goal range. And we ended up in a call that we had a post presence, but we had a one-on-one, and we didn't play the right depth and the right leverage. And so you pay for those mistakes. And I want to be clear, like every single one of those, I don't look at that and say, our players have to be better. Like I all of it starts, with ever expanding concentric circles starting at my desk. And so I want to coach and be responsible for a defense that understands all those things. Hey, what is the split? What should my leverage be? What is the situation call for my depth? And we can coach those things in the moment, but the best plays happen when the players have those things embedded within them, and they're out there playing to their instincts rather than thinking about where they need to line up. So certainly a lot to learn from it, but I think I don't know that I would go back other than, when the plays, certainly you'd change. I think 4-man rush is the right call. I think mixture of zone and zone leverages was right. I think getting into some man was a good thing. I think obviously I hated giving up a one-on-one completion to finish it out, and unfortunately we don't get a chance to redo those things.
Corday Sidnor, Zaylen Wood, what's the update on them?
Well, as you know, we're starting availability reporting, Aria, so we'll have a full scale report tomorrow. But Corday's, he's going to be working back in this week. He's questionable for the game, but I'm hoping that there's some level of availability there. I feel really good with where he's progressed. And Zaylen probably won't be available. He's working through an ankle, and it's just going to take a little time.
You mentioned the pressure there, being able to sit in the pocket and make throws, and even he got hit a couple of times late, you're still able to complete it. Are those plays just crediting him, or do you think there were a couple of things you guys could have maybe slightly differently defensively to maybe get him on the ground more than you did?
Well, is it time to talk about penalties, or are we going to wait on that one? I want to, he did a really good job of getting rid of the ball on time. And for all that we do in our shell and the multiplicity of our coverage, a lot of times we can bank on the quarterback clutching the ball, even if it's for a half second. And, especially early, the first 2 plays, 3 plays, I felt like he had first 2 plays. I felt like he really saw the field well and was able to work through his progression really quickly and release the ball. And I felt like there was pocket collapse happening. I didn't feel like, it was totally clean and he was just sitting back there. I think he had to get rid of the ball, but we weren't. He was able to diagnose at a level that got it out of his hand before we were able to make contact. Some of those instances, like getting a hand up in the defensive line, we have length up there. So, at times you can impact the path of the ball that way. And I think looking back at the game, I felt like we missed some of those opportunities. But when we shifted into man, I think the first time we were able to throw them out of rhythm. When we got into a zone later, we threw them out of rhythm. So we were able to get kind of the back and forth leveled out. Again, then he hit the one-on-one ball. It was a really good throw, really good catch, and again, a missed execution on our part. But I did feel like the four-man rush was effective. It didn't get to a sack or to a pressure that amounted to an incompletion because I thought he outplayed us in those moments. And as far as the pressuring the quarterback, hitting the quarterback, getting him down, obviously we had the sack there early that got him into an off-schedule third down. Linus's play. I mean, that's a tough one. I understand totally the spirit of what, and I actually think that it was officiated the right way, based off what we're asking our officials to do. So there's no criticism leveled there. I look at that play and I think here's a guy pulling off. It's not like he's leading in with his helmet. I mean, he's 6'6", and he's not burying the quarterback on the ground. We got called for that one in the Virginia Tech game. I did not feel like that was anything excessive other than a guy trying to make a play, and certainly don't feel like there was any intent there. I'm talking about the Virginia Tech play that was extra beyond just a guy playing hard and trying to impact the quarterback. I mean, I think the call on Linus. Then later on, we have a pressure on the quarterback, and we actually pull off it. He ends up throwing the ball out of bounds. But I think we have to toe the line really well because we cannot stop being aggressive defensively. And these are conversations that we have to keep, working on internally and obviously pushing externally because it's just getting harder and harder to play defense. I even think with C.J. Taylor's play, I mean, gosh, from the dawn of time, if you throw a hole shot in cover two, there's going to be contact made. I mean, that's just the nature of the game. Could we have gotten a better reroute and slowed the route down and maybe had a chance to finish on the ball? Sure, but in the moment where CJ's doing his job, makes contact with his shoulder, and again, by the letter of the law, and the officials did a great job of explaining to me what they saw and why, and there's no criticism there at all. I think we have to continue to evaluate. We can't take all the risk out. I mean, we have to let them play too, and so that's maybe more of a bigger picture comment than anything specific to your question, but. I obviously wish that we had CJ to start this game this week. I wish we had him to finish the game last week. Linus's play is a 3rd and long. We're off the field, and it's a drive that extends for a touchdown. CJ's play is a 2nd and long. That's a complete plus 15 that ends up in the end zone. It's just like those are really frustrating because they do have an impact. And again, there's no criticism here for how it was officiated. Those guys did an incredible job, and they did a great job of explaining to me exactly what they saw, and I appreciated that. This is more of a big picture comment on, playing defense in an era where we're really trying to, mitigate all the risk out of the game.
Has the game been over-legislated from the top down? It feels like the expectations of asking guys who are moving fast to make a split-second decision about, blowing your head or, an inch or two that causes a targeting or not letting up from the quarterback or LSU got a pick six called back from hitting, from blocking the quarterback. It just feels like the game has gotten out of balance in terms of what's realistic to expect of players and still play football. Is that something you're seeing and feeling too?
Well, and I guess my comments are kind of aimed that direction. You know, Teresa asked it last week about targeting and the penalty for targeting, and I mean, again, listen. I have kids, and I played a different game when I played. You know, it's just we are in a healthy way evolving our game. I think it's awesome, and you know, I want my kids to participate in a game that's safer, and I want us to do everything we can, but also we can't. Inevitably, with any sport, really, but certainly contact sport or anything that you participate in, there's always going to be some level of risk. These guys have to be able to play. I haven't been able to look at in terms of the national numbers. Obviously, here internally, we've taken on more penalties than we've ever taken on. You know, I mean, you know, and again, it's the ever expanding concentric circles around my desk. You know, we're spending the time talking about cleaning our game up, and some of that's more operational than it is, you know, these bang bang plays that, you know, are hard. But I'm not sure whether the penalties are up across the country or whether we're seeing more of these. You reference snap from the LSU game. I think in my mind, the egregious fouls are easy to see or easily seen upon review, and I think we are on the right track to eliminate those egregious fouls, and they exist. You know, I thought the hit on Diego there late, you know, that's egregious. I mean, he's out of bounds, and that is a shot that deserves the penalty. I mean, you know, but some of these that are just right in the margins, I think what we've created is an environment where the benefit of the doubt isn't given in those moments, or it's given to the offensive player, and it's just created challenges. And I don't want to. I'm taking too much time on this. I think the conversation's interesting. You know, what we have to do is shift to the reality of where the game is and just coach through it. But I don't want to coach guys to you know, we don't hit the quarterback in practice. So, you know, everything is about the quarterback cylinder and peeling off and mirror handing and not compressing the lineman into the quarterback cylinder, and I don't want to see that training carry over to Saturday where all of a sudden you're seeing guys pulling off because they're unsure. I mean, we have to be able to go, and I would love to see the egregious ones eliminated. That would be my feeling.
Clark, how much more ramped up is it getting now going to the SEC play?
It's yeah. I mean, the energy, the natural energy is totally different. You know, I mean that's a little bit of my cause for concern and being upset last week, but it doesn't need to change. You know, what needs to happen is that we have a process, we have a consistent mentality, and we continually attack. But these guys are excited. You know, they're excited to play a good SEC team on the road, and it will be challenging. And you know, that's why turning the page is so important from a week ago and just getting refocused. But certainly, it's anytime you're playing an SEC game, it's a great environment. It's going to be a lot of fun, and they'll be keyed up and ready to play. It still comes down to execution, which is focus. So we can have all the energy we want, but are we going to be in the right places with our eyes seeing the things that they need to see? And are we going to be sound, solid, and simple in our design and give our guys the best chance to go win?
What have you seen in their offense?
Well, you know, these are the same guys that we were playing, a lot of them in 22 up there, you know, and there's something to be said for that. Again, I credit Eli. I mean, I think, you know, they've seized on the opportunity in this new era as well as anyone. I mean, I really have a lot of respect for what he's built because he's done it through high school recruiting and retaining, and then they've had success finding additions in the portal too. And so, you know, with Burden, you know, and Cook and these guys, you're seeing them again now for the third time. But yet I feel like they've strengthened around them. So I mean, this is a good outfit, and they're what makes them unique is they formation motion and design you to find spaces. And so for them, you're going to play some offenses where how fast can they get the ball up down the field, and that's not how these guys play. They play a more methodical game. It's built around their stretch running scheme. It's short completions that allow playmakers to make plays in space, and then the ability to go up and over the top, as good as anybody. And so. We're going to have to be patient. We're going to have to build a stop. We've got to perform better on third down. And we're going to have to suffocate the ball in the perimeter, because any, completion behind the line or 5 yards or 3 yards or 7 yards has a chance to become an explosive if you're on your heels and you're playing passively. So it's a good offense. They've done a great job. They got good players, good scheme, and I think a really good identity that they play to week in, week out. Yeah, I mean that's we've asked for that to be reviewed, but because it was a second half infraction, he's out for the first half of the next game.
Anything else?
Coach, can you talk about Stowers? I know he got a little banged up. Do you have any injury update on that?
Yeah, I mean, he's working towards being available. He didn't practice today, but this is something he's dealt with in the past, and as long as he gets to feeling better, we're hoping as the week goes he'll get some work with the offense, and then be available and ready to roll on Saturday. Obviously, I want him to build on the performance he had. I think you start to see the flashes of what he's capable of. It was good to have Bryson Coleman back today too. So he was able to practice today, which is a boost to that room. And Cam is a guy that needs to step up, and hopefully we're getting Cole back too. And so you hope you look up Saturday and you have the full allotment of the room. Obviously, if we played today, Eli wouldn't have been out there. So
Anything else? Thank you.
thank you, guys.